Game time indeed. And Mitch Berger, take a look at the weather. The temperature at 37 degrees. It feels a lot warmer than that. Wind 3 miles an hour. That's very unusual for this time of year. Partly cloudy. You can't blame the wind and the weather today.
No, there's no excuses. And for championship football, there shouldn't be any excuses anyway.
Berger
just go out and play 60 minutes.
Berger to kick it off. Ron Dixon is deep for the Giants, and he's the man who brought it back. But that's not him. That's Damon Washington. Now Washington down at the 25. I started to say it was Dixon who scored against the Eagles on the opening kickoff last week. This is the Giants offensive line. Lomas Brown and Glenn Parker, the two veterans on the left. Dusty Ziegler, the center. Ron Stone headed for the Pro Bowl, and Luke Pettigrew. Amani Toomer and Ike Hilliard, the wide receivers. Howard Cross, tight end. In the backfield, Tiki Barber and the fullback Greg Camella. A Viking shaken up on the play. It's Dane, not Barber, that's going to start with Greg Camella. Pete Bursich injured on the opening kickoff, but it doesn't appear to be serious. 1st and 10 Giants at their own 25. Pat Summerall, John Madden, the NFC Championship game. Weather perfect, sellout crowd. What else could you ask for?
Nothing.
Hilliard is the man in motion. Collins. Toomer. 1st down Giants. Let's look at the Minnesota defense. Toomer was supposed to be hurt. He didn't look like it. Here's the Viking defensive line. Fernando Smith starting. Williams, Hovan, and John Randall. McDaniel, Kylie Wong, and Dwayne Rudd, the linebackers. In the secondary, Tate and Saranga, the cornerbacks. Carter and the All-Pro Robert Griffith, the safety man. Barber now the running back. Fake to Barber. The throw is complete. Toomer again.
And we've talked about the Air Force. That's what Sean Payton said. That's what Kerry Collins said. And this is a little surprise to me. Amani Toomer, we were out there. He didn't practice on Wednesday. He didn't practice on Thursday. We're out there on Friday, and he really didn't look good on Friday. And I remember in the middle of the season one time when Amani Toomer didn't practice during the week, didn't play well. In fact, Jim Fossil benched him after that. He's usually not got a good start.
He needs to practice usually.
Yeah, but he's caught 2 passes here in his first drive.
2 very fine passes by Collins. Here's Tiki Barber. Right side for a couple.
It was funny last week when they did the Philadelphia Eagle game. Jim Johnson, the coordinator for the Eagles, was the first time I'd ever heard anyone say that they had a double, a wide receiver, the Giants. Then this week we talked to the Minnesota Vikings, and they also say it. So it's the second time they also say that they are going to double Amani Toomer.
Second and long, the dime package in for Minnesota's defense.
And the left side there is Emmett Thomas, the defensive coordinator of the Vikings. The right side was Sean Payton, the offensive coordinator.
Camella went in motion. Here's Collins back to throw. Time. Ike Hilliard, touchdown.
The Air Force has been pulled out.
They went to work throwing it. One running play.
LT says that's not the kind of Giant offense I remember.
And you can't throw it much better than Kerry Collins did on those 3 passes.
That was perfect. You're going to see Ike Hilliard here. He starts to the outside, and he just splits them, and Kerry Collins throws a perfect pass. That was just a seam route. Watch here. Kerry Collins knows where he's going. That's called a vertical seam, and he just has Ike Hilliard going up the seam, and he watched them all the way and threw a perfect strike.
And I think Ike Hilliard knew where he was headed.
I think Ike Hilliard saw that coverage and said the ball is coming to old Ike.
The Giants 7, Minnesota nothing. Kerry Collins threw for 125 yards against the Eagles last week. He threw for 472 on that drive just now.
Look at that. The Giants are 11-0 when they score first. That's an omen.
That sure is an omen
for a staff.
Troy Walters back deep for Daniel Isso's kickoff. The ball bounces in front of him, gets away from him. They juggled it, and finally, maybe they came up with it. There's still a scramble. There's still a scramble going on, and I'm not sure who got it.
Looked like the Vikings had it first.
But I think it squirted away from the first Viking. Now there's a fight.
There's 4 officials in there.
The Giants. The Giants.
What a start for the Giants, huh? We always talk about offense and defense. How about special teams?
Boy, when we got here at 9 o'clock this morning, the parking lot, the tailgaters were already here. And they got something to yell about now, don't they?
See, this is one of those ugly kicks that hits about the 17-yard line, and he just runs into his own guy. I mean, there were 2 of them there, and he got hit by his own guy, and the ball was knocked out of there.
It was Mo Williams and Troy Walters back deep. That was the 2 that got confused and lost the ball. 1st and 10 at the Minnesota 18. Collins back to throw it. Looking in the corner, he's got Camelo, touchdown.
This is amazing. They knew they had to come out and strike fast. They knew they had to pass the ball, but I don't think in their wildest dreams they could have dreamt this.
In no one's wildest dreams would they have thought this.
In fact, that was Greg Camella's first NFL touchdown. But Kerry Collins knows where he's going. He kind of looks off in the middle, and then he throws a perfect strike to Camella. Dwayne Rudd was the closest guy to him, but he had him beaten.
Kerry Collins off to a flaming start. 14-0 Giants. Here's the kickoff and the fumble recovery.
Well, Troy Walters goes for it. Mo Williams is going for it at the same time, and the ball's just knocked out.
And somehow Lyle West of the Giants comes out there with it.
You know, that's one of those, when you get one of those ugly kicks like that doesn't go where it's supposed to, you never have any practice at fielding that kind of kick.
This is Walters. He breaks out of the pack and gets up to the 40. Good return, short kick.
Greg Camella ran a nice pattern on that. He's going to start here, then he's going to go out and up, and he's going to end up on Dwayne Rudd. See, I mean, he leaves there for a while, and then up there, Dwayne Rudd is about 3 yards away from him. But he made a nice move there to go to out, like he's going to the flat where Camella usually goes, and then he just took it and turned it up.
Dante Culpepper. He has some work cut out for him now. Outside Moss. And Moss. Flag on the play. Moss got a Minnesota first down.
And that's probably going to be tripping. I think Jason Sehorn missed the tackle and then tried to trip Randy Moss.
That's where they threw the flag.
You know, they got that pattern and everyone is running now. It's just a one-step drop.
Tripping. Defense number 31. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Tony Corrente is the referee.
See, watch Jason Sehorn. He slips, and then he takes his left foot, and he tries to trip Randy Moss. I will say this. In the early going here, the defense has been slipping. Both defenses, the Giant defense and earlier the Viking defense, has had trouble with their footing on this field.
The Vikings now have the ball at the Giant 38. 1st and 10. 3 wide receivers from Minnesota. Dante Culpepper up under center. Robert Smith. Smith to the 33. Let's look at the Minnesota offense. A huge offensive line. Stussy, Lucina, Matt Burt, David Dixon, Corey Stringer. A couple of those guys about 350. Randy Moss and and Chris Carter, the wide receivers. Robert Smith, who just carried the ball. Mike Saucer and Johnny McWilliams. 2nd and 4. Smith again. Didn't get the first. Stopped by Keith Hamilton. He's had a great year. Let's look at the Giant defense. The front four. Jones, Hamilton, Christian Peter, and Michael Strahan, who was so outstanding last week. Jesse Armstead, Michael Barrow in the middle, and Ryan Phillips. Sehorn and Thomas, the corners. Sean Williams, Sam Garnes, the two safeties. 3rd and 4.
The Vikings bring in Matthew Hatchett now, number 89. Then they go 3 wide receivers. Hatchett down here, Moss and Carter up on top.
With Moss in the slot. Flag on the play. Here's Culpepper rolling and throwing. Free play. Throw it up for Moss. Incomplete. Garnes right with him, and Garnes played him well, and Moss is down hurt.
Yeah, that was one of the things that John Fox didn't want to get into, where his safety had to jump against Randy Moss. And I'll tell you, this can be big if Randy Moss is hurt. Well, we know he's hurt, but I mean, if he's hurt bad.
Illegal motion. Offense number 89. The penalty is declined. 4th down.
Tony Carunti explained it to you. I don't know what happened to Moss. It looks like his left foot slipped and got tangled underneath.
Or he fell on the ball.
Maybe.
You see, when he puts his hands up like that, he says he's breaking off his route and he's going to go deep. But Culpepper didn't get the ball up there. I mean, it wasn't in a position where it could be a jump ball. You see, the ball was thrown low, so it wasn't a chance for a jump. I don't know that he just didn't fall on his right shoulder.
Maybe he did. He's walking off without limping, but gasping a bit.
Well, I know one thing that, you know, in that type of pass, what they want to do is chuck that ball up high to him and not low, where he's either going to get in a jump ball contest, and usually against a Garnes, Randy Moss will win that.
4th down, they're going for it.
But, you know, I think here they're in this situation that they're going into the wind. They don't feel good kicking a field goal from here. So I kind of expect this the whole game from the Minnesota Vikings at this position outside the 30-yard line, that they'll go for it on 4th down.
What's to lose? They're already 2 touchdowns behind. Culpepper out of the shotgun.
And they don't feel strongly about it. Now they're going to have 5 more yards to go.
Now they may not go for it.
I think that was a left guard, Corbin Lucina.
False start. Offense number 63. 5-yard penalty.
Now would you still go for it? Moss is back coming in the lineup. Now he's going back.
No, I think
Berger's coming on now. He's got to punt.
I agree that you punt now. I mean, I think, you know, you want what they call a manageable down, and that's under 5 yards. And when you get over 5 yards, it's not as manageable.
Ike Hilliard back deep for the Giants. There's been some question about who would return punts. Berger. And this one's going to be into the end zone. No, it's not. The Vikings knocked it backwards. Chris Walsh got down. I don't see too many empty seats in that house, do you?
No, in fact, I'll bet you there's some people that are 2 in a seat.
I bet so too. They set a record for the crowd last week against the Eagles. I think it looks like more people this week. 1st and 10 from their own 2-yard line. Collins is going to throw. Pump fake. Got a man open. That's Amani Toomer.
Well, I'll tell you, this is something I really didn't expect this, because when I saw Amani Toomer again on Friday, he could hardly walk. I'll tell you, Amani Toomer has done a heck of a job getting himself ready to play this game, and his medical staff and training staff for the Giants have done a heck of a job of getting him ready to play this game.
They really have, and he has. You're right. 5 out of 5 for Collins. Look at that rating. That's off the board. Collins back to Barber. No gain. They haven't had trouble with the run yet.
But, you know, you wonder why they even try and run. You know, and sometimes, remember Bill Walsh and the old 49ers, that was the thing that he would do. You know, for years everyone would start off in the NFL running the ball, establish a run, and then go to the pass later. Bill Walsh would always come out passing, establish a pass, then in the second half go to the run. And this isn't a bad idea. This is kind of what the Giants are doing right here.
A little confusion in the Minnesota defense about where to go and who's supposed to go where. But Barber doesn't make it back to the line of scrimmage. Dwayne Rudd. Let's go back down to D.J. Johnson.
Hey, Pat and John, when I talked to the Giants yesterday, they said the importance of getting off to a good start is that it pumps your team up and deflates the other team. They start to get frustrated. They start to play tight, and they're not loose anymore. But that's funny because a second ago, Robert Griffith came over to his teammates and said, come on, we're playing way too tight. We need to loosen up and play like we know how to play. Back up to you, Pat.
All right, DJ.
You know, the other thing, a good start like this doesn't really get some crowd into it.
Oh, boy, does it.
You know, sometimes they say a crowd is quiet. You have to give them something to yell about.
There comes a blitz, but there's a Giant receiver, Ike Hilliard, wide open for a first down. And Collins is 6 for 6.
Yeah, this is amazing. I mean, Collins has had guys wide open all the time, and there's very few passes that he's thrown yet that he's really had to slide it in there. Here you see him. Collins doesn't run a lot. This is an organized rollout. He starts to roll right. Ike Hilliard runs an out to the side of the roll. And I'll tell you, the Vikings are on their heels. I don't know if that's the way they're playing defense or if this field and they're slipping on it is making them get back in their heel. Or Sean Payton's play calling is making them back in their heel.
They fake to Dane. Collins is running from Randall. The ball is picked off by Robert Tate. And Tate of the Vikings finally falls down at the Giant 36.
That was a play that the Minnesota Vikings needed. And that wasn't Kerry Collins' fault. He threw it right to Ron Dane. Now, he doesn't usually, if he's going to throw to a running back, it's going to be Tiki Barber.
That's right.
Watch this. He throws
deflected first.
Well, it was deflected first, and then Dane really didn't pick it up. The ball hit him right in the head.
And Tate came down with it. Chris Hoban.
That's it. The ball goes right between Dane's hands and hits him square in the face mask.
First and 10, Minnesota at the Giant 37.
But that was the jump start that the Vikings needed.
See if they can go to work. Culpepper, a lot of time. He's going to take off, and he can run. He's got a bad ankle, but he picked up 5, tripped up and caught by Jesse Armstead.
That was a good tackle by Jesse Armstead, you know, because Culpepper, as a quarterback, is bigger than Jesse Armstead. And, you know, how do you practice against a guy like Culpepper who weighs 265 pounds, but Jesse Armstead is a very good tackler. You see, he's alert here, and then the minute that he sees Culpepper running, he just takes off and lays himself out.
He's also very fast, 2nd and 6.
He's also very explosive.
Yes. Culpepper, wide open is Johnny McWilliams, his tight end, who can't stay in bounds. He had some more room, but he got a Viking first down.
And they got Armstead. He takes a bite up, and you're going to see what happens. Watch Jesse Armstead. He's going to step up. He's going to step up here right there. See him take the short guy, and they throw it right over his head to McWilliams. This is the thing you always tell you guys, don't take a bite. Now watch Armstead. See him bite up there in the short guy, and then you get the deep guy right in behind him. That's the toughest thing for a linebacker, to see a flash in front of him and not take the bite by stepping up.
First and 10, Minnesota. Smith is the deep back, and he gets the carry. Robert Smith to about the 22. Keith Hamilton again on the stop.
Keith Hamilton has had an outstanding year this year.
Really has.
I mean, he can do this. He's on. There's 2 Pro Bowlers right there. I mean, Matt Burke is the center, and you see him get his hands on him and then just wait. You know that those nose tackles, you have to be a little patient there too. You have to get your hands on them, you wait, you hold it, and then you come off it.
There's a guy who's always going to be good, and this year he is good.
Well, he's lost some weight, and he's playing every down.
Culpepper back to throw. Up the middle. Intercepted. Emmanuel McDaniel took it away. New York Stock Exchange. Familiar part of New York, financial district. Familiar raucous sight. The Giants leading 14-0. Tiki Barber to the line of scrimmage, nothing more.
Yeah, if you look at that interception again, Pat, we can see Emmanuel McDaniel's here. Now, because he has Sam Garnes here over the top, he can play underneath or he can play aggressively on Chris Carter. You see, and that's why he can stand underneath him, because he has help deep, so he doesn't have to worry about that. And then when the ball is thrown, see how he stays underneath? And he can get between the quarterback and Chris Carter.
Collins to Barber. Dropped. Remember, he's playing with a broken left forearm. Not an excuse, but difficult to catch it.
Look at that interception again, and the job that Emmanuel McDaniel does, because right there, all four hands are on it. And when he comes down, he makes that twist move. And that twist move is the thing that made that an interception instead of a touchdown.
That guy he took the ball away from has got a pair of the strongest hands in the NFL, Chris Carter.
And some of the best hands that have ever played this game.
3rd and 10. Collins. Open is Ike Hilliard, and Hilliard gets a Giant first down inbounds.
Tyrone Carter is out here on him. And you just see, here's Carter, and they just run against a zone pattern, and they're not getting a bump on these Giants receivers, so they're just running right through. And Sean Payton is calling a heck of a game.
Yeah, he really is.
Look at these numbers. They've already passed, the Giants have, for 150 yards.
That's almost as much as they got the whole game.
They don't need any of that rush until the second half.
Last week, here's Collins back to throw again, going deep again. That's the first incompletion. Ron Dixon.
I'll tell you one thing that it does, though, it lets them know that they're going to come after them all day. You know, that they can't get up there and play the run and 8 men in the box and do those types of things. This is Ron Dixon here. He's the speed guy. Remember, last week he's the guy to return that opening kickoff for a touchdown. And they have shots for him. You know, on Sean Payton's list, it just said shots to Dixon. We just saw one of them.
Logical. 2nd and 10. Collins quickly outside. They had a little miscommunication there between him and Hilliard.
That was what they call smoke, where he just takes one step and throws it out there. But watch this. I mean, we don't see many of these things this early or any time in a Giant game. This is 15 yards here. Look at this. He's 2 for 2 to the left, 3 for 4 to the right, throwing the ball over 15 yards. And the Giants, I don't remember the last time you would ever call the Giant offense a vertical offense.
It's been a long time. In fact, I don't ever remember saying that.
How about when the other 88 was there?
Here's Collins going deep again. Another shot. And this one is picked off by Minnesota. That's Don Morgan, who came up with it. And the Vikings will take over at the 12-yard line, their own. Right here on Fox.
Just 1 week from today, huh?
1 week from today.
And we're still picking them. I mean, there could be someone come up big in this game who would put on the team. Who knows?
That's Robert Smith struggling. Christian Peter on the bottom of the pile.
You know, Robert Smith really hasn't been the same in the last month. He has some loose bodies in his knee. I remember about 3 or 4 weeks ago in one game, they got caught in a joint, and he had to come out a couple of times, and they can't really do anything about that until after the season, but I think that has really affected Robert Smith.
Injured Viking down. I think it's Corbin Lucina. I know it's an offensive lineman.
At least they have 2 guys out there helping him, though. Remember last week, old Glenn Parker goes down here. and no one came out to help him. This is Corbin Lucina. He's number 63 right here.
There it is.
See it right there.
Yep.
You know, you see that so often where a guy gets injured, especially an offensive lineman, by his teammate. You know, I mean, they're down blocking, they're doing all this thing. They have a guy engaged, and then they're driving towards him, and they just roll up on the back of his leg.
Chris Lewinsky has taken his place.
He does that all the time. Lucina and Lewinsky switch off back and forth. Lucina more of a pass protector, and Lewinsky a little bigger and more of a run blocker.
They got a full package to handle now. Lewinsky does. Keith Hamilton across from him. 2nd and 9. Culpepper gets back in the shotgun. Chase stays on his feet. Finally gets rid of it. Completes the pass. Matthew Hatchett stopped by Dave Thomas.
And you were right about Keith Hamilton, and they didn't block him. But Dante Culpepper, watch Keith Hamilton. He's right here. But Dante Culpepper is so strong. There's Keith Hamilton right there. And he just makes a twist. Every time someone goes to hit him, he makes a twist, and he just runs right out of it. Watch Hamilton again here. He just gets Lewinsky, just like you said. Lewinsky comes in. He gets that bull rush, gets that left arm up underneath, and pushes him right back into Culpepper, but can't finish the job, but did make him put the ball down.
Culpepper again back, and here comes the giant blitz. Culpepper gets away from it, throws back across the field, incomplete. He overthrew Chris Carter. And the Vikings will have to punt.
And Michael Barrow, John Fox here sees that. Michael Barrow came on a blitz. And that's the thing that made Dante Culpepper put the ball down. Watch Barrow. He's going to come right here. And you'll see right here, he starts to get the pressure right there. Culpepper tried to run out to his right. Got around Barrow, but was in no position to throw the ball.
Berger back to kick, and the ball came off the side of his foot. That's a poor punt.
The heck was that? He's looking back at the ground. I think, look at that, now he's pointing up to the air.
Yeah. He better point to his foot.
or maybe it's his other foot. Maybe it wasn't his punt foot.
Well, let's see. Just came off the side of his foot. He was out an awful long time before the game working on his kickoffs and punting.
You know, and what shoes to wear and all that stuff. Remember, we did their last regular season game, the Indianapolis Colts, and he had a pulled groin muscle at that time.
Well, yesterday, and the Vikings came out here to practice a walkthrough, really. Berger changed shoes 6 times, trying to find a pair of shoes he was comfortable with.
Kickers tend to do those types of things.
They do. I could only have one pair, though.
He had a square toe.
Yeah, that's all we could afford. Collins gets the screen pass out to Ron Dane.
This is one of the things that the Giants want to do, you know, is throw a little more to Dane, because they don't want the defenses to know that every time Tiki Barber's in there, it's a pass, and every time Ron Dane is in there, it's a run, or every time Ron Dane's in there, they fake to him and never throw to him. So some of these things they want to do to break tendencies.
Collins today 8 out of 13, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. One of them a deflection. He pumps, goes deep. He's got Amani Toomer. The Viking defender fell down. Flag on the flag.
Yeah, they threw a flag out there.
That's Red McCombs, the owner of the Vikings, just shaking his head, and that's about all he can do right now.
Yeah, he walked into a whipsaw here. Old Red's getting whipsawed in this first quarter here. They didn't, you know, I mean, if you would have said that this is going to happen, but which team is going to do it, most people would have picked the Vikings doing what the Giants have done.
There was no flag. They picked it up. So it's 1st and 10 Giants. Tiki Barber struggling for yards on the ground and getting only a couple.
This is what they do at the sideline when they get those electronic images. That's Mike Tice, the offensive line coach. And it seems like offensive line coaches and offensive linemen work with those more than any other position. You see, and he's showing them the blitzes and or stunts and what they did, where they lined up, and how they have to pick them up. Looked like Amani Toomer hurt himself again.
Yeah, it looks like he might be limping just a bit.
Remember last week he hurt his ankle and both knees. One knee was a guy spilled hot soup on it.
Here's Collins. Up the middle, incomplete, but and there's no flag. He came up with it. Joe Juravicius was knocked down before the ball got there, but came up with it.
Gary Collins loves Joe Juravicius. They played together at Penn State when Joe Juravicius was a freshman and sophomore, when Gary Collins was a junior and senior, and he said he liked him from those days because he's a big target.
On the way down.
He's a wide receiver, but he looks like a tight end. Look at that. That is a heck of a play. Robert Griffin was there. Robert Griffin even had one of his arms.
This is Ron Dane behind the line of scrimmage. A loss of about a yard.
Oh, Glenn Parker's upset. Ron Dane can't run sideways. I mean, and I don't care. I mean, maybe in his second or third or fourth or fifth year, he can run sideways. In his first year in the NFL, he has to get his shoulder square. And it's easier when he stays inside than when he tries to get out to that 6 and 7 hole or that off tackle hole.
Gary Collins is trying to get the crowd to calm down and be quiet a little bit. And that's the end of the first quarter.
Look at this. The Giants had 3rd and short. The Vikings, confused, only had 10 guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The Giants run a play and can't score against a 10-man defense on the goal line.
In fact, lost yardage.
You know,
Brad Daluiso in to try the field goal.
The Vikings defense has been confused a lot in this first quarter.
From 21 yards out, it's 17-0. As we open the second quarter, the Giants over the Vikings 17-0. Here's Daluiso's kickoff. Again, it's short. This time it's Troy Walters. Walters to the 38. Statistics from quarter number 1. -1 yard rushing for the Giants, but look at the passing yards. 187 more than they got all last week against Philadelphia. The Vikings haven't gotten on track on offense yet.
You know, it was interesting. Sean Payton said yesterday, Gary Collins was saying that Sean Payton always puts the onus. He calls it the onus on someone. He says the onus this week is on Gary Collins and the wide receivers. I'll tell you, Gary Collins and the wide receivers so far have taken the onus.
Culpepper, ball, his arm was hit just as he let it go. Incomplete, intended for Moss. Corbin Lucina back in the huddle for the Vikings.
Remember what Michael Strahan did last week? Watch him here on Corey Stringer. Again, Corey Stringer, a big 350-pound guy. You know, Michael Strahan is undersized, but he plays a strength game.
Yep.
He's a bull rusher. I mean, and it's all about leverage. Michael Strahan has great leverage, and he just showed it to Corey Stringer.
2nd and 10. Culpepper, Robert Smith, who has outstanding speed, but there's a flag on the play thrown from way back. One of the deepest officials. Checking on linebacker Jim Nelson, number 56. And now the conference among the officials, the referee Tony Carenti. Holding against Minnesota. Corbin Lucina is back in the lineup at left guard.
Holding, offense, number 89. 10-yard penalty, repeat, 2nd down.
Holding against Matthew Hatchett, one of the wide receivers. Takes back Smith's gain.
Remember Matthew Hatchett before the Minnesota Vikings drafted Randy Moss?
Yeah.
They thought Matthew Hatchett was going to be Randy Moss. They thought their 2 wide receivers were going to end up being Chris Carter and Matthew Hatchett. then lo and behold, here comes Randy Moss.
Well, they got rid of Jake Reed because of that. Culpepper pump fake. Wrestled almost down, and now he is down. Strahan around the corner. Cedric Jones with an assist.
That's it. Cedric Jones comes from the outside. It's a zone blitz. And he stuck with it. I mean, he got his hands on him and just stuck with it. And then Strahan comes. Here's what I don't like, though. They're going to throw over here. But watch Randy Moss here. I mean, they don't run a pattern there. That's that quarters that I was talking about before the game. And that's one thing I don't like about this Viking passing attack. All of their receivers don't run good patterns on every play.
3rd and 14. Around the corner, Mike Barrow came on the blitz, and he really got a great jump.
And that was on Corey Stringer again. We showed where Michael Strahan gave Corey Stringer the bull rush, and then Michael Barrow comes, and he's going to give him the speed right here. He just runs right around Corey Stringer. Corey Stringer was slow getting up. Watch him. See that? He didn't get out of his stance, and by the time he did get to that point where he could make contact, Michael Barrow was already past him.
Ike Hilliard back to field the punt. Berger, still not a good kick. Very short. Bounces away from Hilliard. And the Vikings are down at the Giant 29. 1st and 10 Giants at their own 29. Collins. Complete. Barber. Not much.
Yeah, here, Luke Pettigrew has been doing a pretty good job on John Randall. I mean, if they're going to get any pressure with their 4-man line, it's going to be from John Randall. And you can see that he gets there towards the end, but Collins is still able to get the ball off. But all in all, in that first quarter, I think Luke Pettigrew has really done a pretty good job on John Randall.
All that offensive line has done a good job. Collins has had time. 2nd and 7. Barber. Let's again send you down to DJ Johnson.
Hey, Pat and John, before each and every game, Giants linebacker Michael Barrow writes down a list of what he calls laws. And these laws are designed to get him in a positive right frame of mind for the game. And among the 3 today, he has be physical and aggressive, tackle, wrap up, explode through the back, and first and foremost, get to the ball, no excuses. I tell you what, after that second ago, no excuses needed. He got the sack. Back up to you, Pat.
1st and 10. Collins gonna throw deep, gonna take another shot. It's Dixon. Made the catch. He made the catch at about the 12. Tyrone Carter was right with him, but Dixon came down with it. Worth a shot.
This is amazing, and this is why you have to take those shots, because you never know what's going to be in the other end of them. And you see Dixon again, the fastest of the Giants, and the guy that when they're going to run a deep pattern and try and get it deep, they're going to try and get him in the game and get it to him. And that was a heck of an adjustment that he made, because that ball wasn't thrown out in front of him. He had to kind of come under control and reach back for that one.
A gain of 43 yards. 1st and 10 Giants. And here's Collins sprinting out and hitting Ike Hilliard.
I'll tell you, Kerry Collins has him going.
Oh, really?
I mean, Sean Payton put the onus on him, and he took that onus.
I mean,
and he's playing this first half with onus, and this is something you don't see a lot. But this is the second time that we've seen the Giants run that pattern where Kerry Collins just sprints out, and then on play side, Ike Hilliard runs it out. Look at this, wide receiver. They've thrown the ball 13 times, completed 10 for 209 yards.
2nd down and 5 for a first. Collins fakes again and sprints left and throws. Touchdown, Giants. It's Joe Giravicius. He didn't play last week, but he's made his presence known this week.
Yeah, they all said when we went to practice the other day, and about 5 or 6 guys come up and tell me, Joe Juravicius had a great week of practice. I don't know if Harry Carson was one of those guys, but I'll tell you, Gary Collins was one of those guys that said that.
Yes, he was.
This is what you like about Joe Juravicius. Again, the big target, the closer you get to the goal line, the bigger the target, the better, because you can run him back to that corner and just throw it where he catches it or no one catches it.
He and Collins played together at Penn State for 2 years, so they know what each other can do. So's extra point is good. 24-0. The Giants over the Minnesota Vikings. Pat Summerall with John Madden. And whoever expected something like this. I thought the Giants had a chance, but wow.
The Vikings have 39 yards total offense. The Giants have 257.
Mo Williams at the 25.
I tell you, Jason Sehorn has to be doing a great job out here on Randy Moss. He's been lining up on him all day, and Randy Moss hasn't done anything yet.
Well, Culpepper has had no time. Sehorn slings Moss out of bounds. He got 5 yards.
And we look at this, the defensive pressure that they put on Dante Culpepper. And remember, this week it's all coming from this side here. Before, they used to get a lot of pressure, the Vikings did, from this side, but not much from this side. But here's where it's coming from. 2 sacks, 2 hits, 3 hurries from their right side for the Giants' defensive left side.
Culpepper outside. Andrew Jordan makes the catch. It's not a first down as Jesse Armstead knocked him out of bounds.
You know, one of the things people say, you know, how's John Fox going to defend this offense? And the way John Fox does is you just mix it up.
Yep.
I mean, there's no one thing you do. You don't blitz them all the time. You don't zone them all the time. You don't man them all the time. You don't use quarters all the time. But you mix them up so that Dante Culpepper never gets in a rhythm as to what you're doing. And don't you have that feeling that's happening?
I really do. You think John Fox is going to be a head coach?
I think, yeah, I do. Whether it'll be this year or next year, I think he will be a head coach.
The fake is to Smith. They don't get a first down. It's out there quickly as Thomas, and the ball's loose. The ball's on the ground. The Giants have taken off with it, but they're saying it's down.
Yeah, the officials just pointed down to it, so that
well, now they've dropped a flag on the play. Red McCombs. It's a long, tough day for Red today.
What happened to your granddaddy that
Holding.
time?
Got whipsawed.
Number 85.
Red got whipsawed.
The penalty is declined. 4th down.
Bob Tisch, half owner of the Giants, he looks a little more enthusiastic and happy about things.
And right next to him, Mayor Giuliani.
The mayor of the city of New York. I thought he was a Yankee fan.
Well, and that's what you are. During baseball season, you're a Yankee fan. During football season, you're a Giant fan.
Nothing wrong with that.
But I'll tell you, he does get out. I mean, you see him all over this city.
Berger gets off a good punt. Back to fielding, but let's see what's going on. Red flag means challenge, I believe.
Right, and so that has to be a challenge on that 3rd down play.
Yep.
Because they got the challenge in before the ball was snapped.
Did they get it in time?
Yeah, because they blew the whistle before the ball was snapped.
Jim Fossil saying it was a fumble.
Yeah, you see that flag coming in there?
Yep.
Yeah, and that was before the ball was snapped.
As long as they get it done before the ball is snapped. Well, Parenti still talking with Fox.
I think Jim Fox is saying that he was down by contact.
Fossil. And Parenti.
This is a non-reviewable play. We'll play 4th down. The pass was ruled incomplete.
Pass was ruled incomplete.
Timeout.
I don't know how. Maybe he hadn't got possession.
Oh,
boy.
No,
I don't know about that.
Pass.
It sure is.
Yeah. I can see why he challenged that.
Hilliard made a heck of a catch on the run, slipping down. A bewildered bunch of Vikings. 24-0. The Giants lead them. They're the two cornerbacks for the Giants who've done a whale of a job on those Minnesota wide receivers, Dave Thomas and Jason Sehorn.
Yeah, Chris Carter has yet to catch a pass, and Randy Moss has only caught 2.
And 2 short ones. Pete Mitchell was the man on the move. Here comes the Viking blitz. Screen pass called, and it's a perfect call. Tiki Barber almost regained his balance.
And we saw in this first half, we saw the Air Force and the Omis haven't been accepted.
First and 10. Collins back to throw it again. Almost picked off, intended for Toomer. That one was a little high.
Yeah, that wasn't one of his good throws.
No.
You know, Amani Toomer, I was saying last week, you know, he hurt his ankle, and then he hurt his knee. Then on one play, we thought he hurt his knee. Remember on that sideline there?
Yeah.
And there was a guy on the sideline of the Eagles, and he spilled hot soup on him. And it burned his shin, and he said he reached down there and he thought his knee was on fire. And so he had a burned shin, a hurt knee, and a hurt ankle, and he didn't practice until Friday.
2nd and 10, and he's been outstanding. Here's the draw play to Tiki Barber. Barber to the 40, to the 35, and across. Stopped by Robert Griffith.
Well, they have these Vikings going now.
Oh, they got them on their heels.
I mean, look at this hole here. They get that draw play. He just delays it a little and then cuts back. Like when we were talking to Tiki Barber the other day, he said that's the kind of running that I like to do. You know, Dane do the straight ahead, then I like the misdirection and the cutback. This is a cutback. Start to the right, leave your lead, and cut back when they leave you a hole like that backside.
20-yard pickup. Dane was in the backfield, and Collins is going to run this time. And throws it away. Tiki Barber, as we mentioned earlier, has a broken arm, a left arm. And there's the protective device he has on it.
Right, it's a carbon fiber, and you can see the adjustment that they made was right down here to make it tighter, and then this takes the pressure off the broken part, and then as he gets hit here, it just brings it down to these other parts. You see that seam up the side?
Yeah.
He was telling us it takes 2 men to pull that thing off him when they get it on him.
Here's Collins back to throw. Has a lot of time. Intended for Jurevicius. Flags come flying from everywhere.
And hats. We saw a flag, and then we saw a hat. There's Ron Botchin. He's the umpire. One of the good umpires. Remember when our buddy Matt Millen was the umpire in the preseason? The guy that he worked with was Ron Botchin.
Two penalties?
Yeah, it was called by the same official, the official without the hat. And it's over here on this
illegal
side.
Contact, defense number 29.
Right
Uses
there.
hands to the face of the receiver. This penalty is declined. Pass interference, defense number 29. The ball being placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
Waswa Swanga.
And both of the penalties were called on him.
Yep.
Both called by the same official. The first one on that illegal contact to the face, he threw his flag. Then the second one, he threw his hat.
Collins to Barber. Barber, no gain. Kerry Collins already has the 3rd highest passing yardage total in team playoff history, and we're still in the 2nd quarter.
That's amazing. You know, I remember when Ernie Accorsi, the general manager of the Giants, brought Kerry Collins in here and paid him a lot of money. And Ernie was kind of ridiculed for it, and he had to live with it for a while. Kerry Collins had to live with it, but they're kind of being repaid today.
Collins back to throw. Throws to Camella. That's the pass that scored the touchdown. The Vikings are claiming he was out of bounds. But the Giants get that one, 1st and goal from there. And that's the pass that scored their 2nd touchdown.
They just have everything going. There's Camella up there running, as you say, that same pattern where it was a little flatten up.
Yep.
Most of the year, Camella had been just running the flat. So when they see him go out there, they take that angle of the flat, and then he bends it or turns it up.
1st and goal. He lost it, but out of bounds. There's the one.
Rondé, if he runs this, better run it square into the hole.
Collins is going to throw it. Throws it up the middle, incomplete. Intended for Pete Mitchell, who was open.
Yeah, they like Pete Mitchell as a pass receiving tight end, and in every game they have some plays for him. It's usually out a little more. It's usually out on the 10 or 20. You're going to see this ball's tipped here. You see right there. Change right there. It's tipped.
Yeah.
That changed the direction a little. That will make Pete Mitchell just dive for it. Now they'll run it.
Dane is the deep back. And Dane, a flag on the play. And I think Dane might have moved a little bit.
27.
27.
5-yard penalty remains 2nd out.
You're right. When you get down there in that goal line and your number is called, you get a little anxious.
Motion and watch Dane.
Yep.
Yes, he did move.
That's all it takes is that little thing there. But at least he had a second effort. I mean, he had the hit in there, and then he drove the legs. Ron Dane hasn't been doing a lot of that, especially in the second half of this year.
2nd and goal at the 6. He got off to a great start. It was thunder and lightning. That was all the talk. That's Mitchell lined up on the right side as the tight end, and Barber goes left. And here's Collins. Camella finding at the 5, and that's as far as he gets.
Yeah, it just shows you how those penalties just kill you.
Yep.
You know, you get down there and you have a good situation. You're on the 1-yard line, and in goal line, there's a heck of a lot of difference between being on the 1, because you can run anything. You can run, you can pass, you can play pass, you can bootleg, you can do anything, and being on the 6-yard line or 5-yard line.
3rd and goal at the 5. 3 tight ends for the Giants. Campbell, Cross, and Mitchell. Camella moves left. Cross in motion. Collins takes off. And Collins throws incomplete. It was intended for Ike Hilliard.
It's an interesting pattern. He rolled out here, and he had a short guy, a medium guy, and a deep guy. The deep guy was Ike Hilliard there, and he was the one he threw it to.
So D'Aloiso has hit 1 from 21 yards. Will have a chance from 22 this time. No wind today. And that in itself is very unusual at Giant Stadium. D'Aloiso is good again. 27-0. 5:22 left to play in the first half.
You know, there's some family that is involved in both championship games. This is a trivia thing. In both championship games today, one is playing here. One is with the Giants, and the other one is out in Oakland.
Well,
no, it's not Rondé Barber.
That's Rondé Barber, who plays for Tampa Bay, but they're not involved.
And that's Tiki Barber's twin brother. In fact, there's a lot of talk that Rondé Barber, who's a free agent, could be playing for the Giants next year. Talked to Tiki about that, and
he didn't deny it.
No, he said that's a good possibility. You know what it is? Amani Toomer's dad handles the clock at the Oakland Coliseum.
Well, they're both not playing. They're involved.
No, they're involved in the game. Yeah, that's all.
That's Troy Walters. Gets out to about the 28. Lyle West made the stop. The Minnesota Vikings' biggest comeback in the playoffs, 16 points. In the 97 wild card game against the Giants led that game 19-3 at the half, and the Vikings came back to win.
That you don't have to remind them. Every Giants, every Giants fan in the world knows that.
They'll never forget it either.
That's like the Pisarcik fumble.
Yep. 4 wide receivers for Minnesota. Let's see if the Giants come after him. Pass is caught by Chris Walsh for about 8 yards. A flag on the play.
You know, the Vikings just don't have anything going, and they don't look crisp. I mean, I'm just watching their receivers, and they're not running crisp patterns. They're not coming off the ball quickly. They're not using their speed, and that's where they had the advantage. And I always thought that if anything gave the Giant defense trouble, it was
illegal
speed.
use of the hands of the face, offense, number 73. 10-yard penalty, repeat, first down.
Todd Stussy. Todd Stussy's a left tackle here, and you know he's going to get 1 or 2 of some type of penalty every game. He takes that left hand. You just see that left hand up to the face. They let him do that, you know. But you have to when you jam it up in there, then you got to pull it back down and get it back in their shoulder pads.
1st and 20. The clock running. 4:50 left in the first half. Culpepper back in the shotgun, and here comes the Giant blitz. And the ball knocked loose. Incomplete pass. Michael Strahan falls on it. He's the guy who hit. That's Armstead who fell on it. Strahan's the man who hit him.
I'll tell you, Strahan and Hamilton are going to be right there about the same time. Strahan coming from the right and hitting him right there. Hamilton coming up the middle so he can't step up. Strahan, these last 2 weeks, has been like the Superman.
Oh, he really has.
I mean, whatever he has, he is unveiled. He took the hood off, man. I mean, he really has. But, you know, again, Michael Strahan weighs about 260-some pounds. Corey Stringer outweighs him by 100 pounds.
Here is Culpepper. Screen pass. Nothing doing. Armstead had it read. Robert Smith made the reception, but perhaps he shouldn't have. Jesse Armstead.
That's the thing that Jesse Armstead can do. You know, we pointed that out earlier, that he can make up ground because he has that quickness and explosiveness. And you just watch him, and then he's a good tackler. I mean, he goes right there where he goes right for the knees and the ankles, and there's no way that Robert Smith is going to run through or out of it.
He saw it coming right from the very beginning.
Listen to this crowd. This is great, man.
Minnesota's got it in exit.
This is football in New York.
Culpepper lost the ball, gets it back at about the 21.
And again, Jesse Armstead is really having a heck of a first half here tackling. I mean, he has been all over the field and making every play. And when he zeroes in on you, you aren't getting away from his zero.
Well, that's the thing about this Giant defense. It's somebody different every week.
Although it was
they all contribute.
It was Michael Strahan last week. Yep. It was Michael Strahan again this week.
And Jesse Armstead. This is a Giants timeout.
I think maybe during the year, maybe Keith Hamilton had a better year as a defensive lineman than Michael Strahan, but not the last 2 games. There's Lawrence Taylor. He was here at practice yesterday. After practice, he talked to the team, and it was kind of fun to sit there. I stood there and watched the guys as Lawrence Taylor talked. You know, not watch Lawrence Taylor, but just watch the guys, and they know that this guy is one of the greatest Giants of them all, and they all respect him.
Well, he changed the way the game is played. This is Ike Hilliard. And Hilliard spun away from the first wave.
One of the things that John Fox said that he wanted to do was to go after Culpepper. That here's a guy who's really playing in his first year, and they're just not going to give him lanes. They're not going to let him run. And when you have tacklers like Jesse Armstead, he's not going to go anywhere anyway.
That's right. This is Ike Hilliard on the punt return.
That's his feet there, where you kind of make that jump cut, you know, where you jump. Remember Barry Sanders used to do that, where you jump with both feet, then go back to the other side.
Personal foul.
Personal foul.
Unnecessary roughness. Receiving team number 23 blocked a kicking team player while he was out of bounds. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Omar Stoutmeyer, reserve safety for the Giants.
But you know, anything happens here. I mean, watch him. He grabs him by the head, then he waits for him to come in and waits, and then he goes and blocks him there. He's okay there.
Yep.
It had to come later because he didn't block him out of bounds yet.
1st and 10 at the 28. Collins is going for more. Ike Hilliard makes the reception. First down, Giants.
Yeah, we're talking about Kerry Collins and how he looks confident. I will say that these receivers look very confident too.
Yes, they do.
Amani Toomer, Ike Hilliard. How about Greg Camella becoming a receiver today? How about that offensive line giving him this type of time?
How about the Giants? 27-0.
Who would have thunked?
Here's Collins back to throw it. Throws it outside to Tiki Barber, who lost the ball, but fell on. He was out of bounds.
That's the side that Tiki Barber has the trouble because he can't hold the ball in his left hand. There's Michael Strahan. He got a double dip cup there. Michael Strahan, as we talked about last week, never sits down during a game.
That's Lomas Brown, and what an addition he's been to this Giant offensive line.
I was talking to the team doctors of the Giants before the game, and they said that Lomas Brown really gutted it up last week. That during last week's game, he had 3 injuries. And I think the one, there's Ronnie Barnes there, the right here. He's the trainer, one of the better trainers in football. We're going to see Lomas Brown right here. But Lomas Brown came into this with a bad back.
Yep.
That's what it is.
He tried to grab his back on the way down.
Yeah, and then he grabbed it after he was down. But this happened to him. I know it happened to him in last week's game, they told me too. But then the job that he did on Hugh Douglas.
Lomas in his 16th season.
One of the fun guys. You know, Lomas Brown.
Good people.
Always has a smile on his face. And you know, when he talks and laughs, I thought about this week. He reminds me of Bill Cosby.
Yes, he does.
He sounds like Bill Cosby when he talks and laughs.
Coming up on the Visa halftime show, JB, Terry, and Howie and Chris, who are here, will be joined by 3-time Winston Cup champion Darrell Waldrop. They'll have highlights and analysis of the first half of today's game and a live performance by Grammy-nominated artist Brian McKnight. That's all coming up on the Visa halftime report.
Remember last week when Glenn Parker went down?
Yep.
And then we were trying to figure out what it was, and they had that wrap around him. He broke 2 ribs. In fact, he told me yesterday that he broke the 2 ends off him. You know, these fans, you know, it used to be these fans were all about defense, and since Lomas Brown came here, I think that they've learned to appreciate some of these old offensive linemen.
He brought so much stability, maturity, poise. Just a good human being, good player.
Well, they brought it a good locker room because you know, the Giants were always one where the defense was always barking at the offense, and the offense just kind of took it. And Lomas Brown and Glenn Parker come in and they have too much respect that they don't have to take it, so the defense doesn't give it to them, and they've become more of a team, the Giants have.
2nd and 4. Barber circles left, and Barber circles out of bounds in Minnesota territory.
This is what I was talking about on Barber's. He can't hold the ball in his left arm, so he has to hold it in his right arm. Now, when you get up against the sideline, you want the ball in your outside arm, and when you can't do that, they're always going to hit that ball from the inside, and that happens a lot. But because of that broken left arm, he has to carry the ball all the time in his right arm.
Mike Rosenthal has taken Lomas Brown's place. Here's Collins back to throw. Hit just as he lets it go, incomplete. Vicious, the intended target.
That was Fernando Smith that hit him, and it was against. We're talking about Rosenthal. Here he is, and here's Fernando Smith right there. You see, they just take Lomas Brown out, so that's the guy that you're going to get excited about. It's the guy you're going to go to work on. Fernando Smith did. Fernando Smith, about 3 or 4 weeks ago, was a free agent.
Yeah.
Walk into it.
Lance Sawyer, the normal starting right in, wasn't playing. I mean, he was starting to get tired and run down, so they brought Fernando Smith in to play more against the run.
2nd and 10. Collins throws complete. Caught by Ike Hilliard. A delighted sellout crowd at Giant Stadium. Lomas Brown, his back bothering him, heads for the locker room. 2 minutes to go in the first half. 27-0, and the Giants are down in position to get more. Jared Collins is.
And the thing that I don't know when you start thinking about it, but Giants fans and I mean players and coaches shouldn't be, but now look how close you are to that Super Bowl. Yeah. There it is right there, guaranteed.
Guaranteed, not quite yet.
At some point you have to think we're about as close to a Super Bowl as you can get in the first half of football.
Collins outside quickly. Tiki Barber. Now let's go down to DJ Johnson.
Hey, Pat and John, Lomas Brown took himself into the locker room a second ago to get himself checked out. And as he walked by, he told me he didn't get hit. He didn't fall on anything, but when he was blocking, when he twisted, he felt something pull in his rib. So it's more like a muscle pull inside the rib area. So I asked him, "You're going to shut it down for today? You guys got a pretty good lead." He looked at me and said, "Come on, DJ. You know I have to try to get back in this one." Now, he was one of my teammates with the Cardinals for a while, so if he can get back in, he will be back in. Back up to you, Pat.
Indeed he will, DJ.
Now, you don't play 16 years in this league and get this far and want to shut it down.
Collins again. Ike Hilliard had his eyes on the end zone as the pass is complete.
Because, for an offensive lineman, when you get a lead like this is the most fun football. I mean, this is when all the fun starts. I mean, these guys, these Minnesota Vikings are really back in their heels, and whether they slipped early or they just couldn't take the onslaught, they have not been playing well. I mean, they've been like they're in mud or like something set in where they can't move at all. They're just standing there and watching the Giant receivers.
1st and goal, 1.5 yards. Dane gets the carry and doesn't get in. He was knocked backwards when he made contact. Timeout, Giants.
Ron Dane doesn't hit that thing with enough power. I mean, you have to get your feet more apart and keep those feet going. Dave Thomas is saying, hey, how about how we're doing against these receivers? How many has Chris Carter caught so far?
Coming up on the Visa halftime show, JB, Terry, Howie, and Chris, joined by three-time Winston Cup champion Darrell Waldrop. Highlights and analysis of the first half of this game. A live performance by Grammy-nominated artist Brian McKnight. That's all coming up at the half on the Visa halftime show.
Hey, one thing, Jesse Armstead still has this group fired up.
Has he ever?
It may be 27-0, but he's telling them we got to play this game like it's 0-0 until we finish it.
Collins starts 2 men in motion.
Yep, that was ugly.
Yep. Or 2 men started in motion, I should say.
I think 1 man started in motion. That was Campbell, and the other guy illegally moved. That was Camella.
Twice they've been down here and gotten penalties.
And then Ugly broke out.
Yep.
Left guard offense. 5-yard penalty. remains, second down.
Poor old left guard. They picked out the lineman when two of the guys in the backfield were the ones that moved.
They get a motion. They get Kamala moving. They pick old Glenn Parker out. It was his fault.
Sean Payton, who calls the plays. I think that's a big change.
Oh, yeah. And we're talking to Kerry Collins about that. He says that under Sean Payton, he said we take more shots, and we're better in the quick passing game, and we're better in the third down passing game, and those things have sure been true today.
Toomer comes in motion, second and goal at the 6. Collins comes out, throws a grounder. 16 seconds left. 27-0. The Giants over the Vikings.
The Vikings look like they're playing with about 6 or 7 guys over there on defense.
Yep.
And then they're not getting the pass rush. They're not getting penetration. Their defensive backs are off, and they look like they're just standing there and watching the receivers catch the ball.
You don't make many marks in the win column when you do that.
And on the other side, the Giants continue to go after them.
Yep. Third and goal. Here's Collins. Up the middle, touchdown, Ike Hilliard. Collins to Hilliard. Two touchdowns for Hilliard.
8 catches for 146 yards.
And we're not at the half yet.
Yep. As he said, the onus is on. The onus is on you, Kerry.
That would be the magic word from now on.
And the onus is on you, Ike Hilliard. And the onus is on you, Amani Toomer. And boy, are they playing well under that onus.
34 first half points is the most points the Giants have scored since the 1956 championship game at Yankee Stadium against the Chicago Bears.
Ike Hilliard just ran an option route there where you start to the inside, and if the defender plays you inside, you stop and pivot out. If he plays you outside, then you continue to go inside.
Ike Hilliard, who played at the University of Florida, looking forward to a trip back to Tampa.
You know, I remember the first time I saw the Giants this year. I came to a preseason game with the Ravens. I was talking to Jason Garrett, the backup quarterback for the 49ers, and I mean for the Giants, and we were talking about, players in the Giants, and he says, the guy that I really like is Ike Hilliard. He said, I think that he can be something special.
The boys getting ready. Chris, Howie, Terry, JB.
They got all their papers and stuff. But each guy has 2 guys. Chris has none.
It's pretty good. How many guys you got?
Chris had none. I got none, guys. I'm like Chris Collinsworth. I think Terry had 4.
He did. Walters at the 10. Boy, you talk about back on their heels. Jack Golden was the man down to make the hit.
I hate to say this, it's only the first half, but the Minnesota Vikings are starting to look like they want no part of this.
Look at those eyes.
And the
Short and Golden.
And the Giants, this is as I said, this is when it gets fun. And especially fun for an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
You don't get these situations in your life a lot.
34-0. Here's Culpepper back to throw it. Going deep and nothing there. Intended for Moss. He is surrounded by 5 Giants.
Well, and the one is Jason Sehorn, and Jason Sehorn, felt that he could do that. I think everyone did, and that's why they put Jason Sehorn on Randy Moss. That when you get a jump ball, Jason Sehorn can jump too.
Yep.
I mean, Jason Sehorn is not only their best corner, but he's their best athlete. So John Fox says, we want our best athlete on Randy Moss, a guy that has a chance to out-jump him or jump with him on those jump balls.
You think about how tired John Fox must be after the game is over, chewing that gum, and Culpepper throws it to Smith, but I think it hit the ground first. No whistle. Beg your pardon. into the half. There was a whistle. That's the end of the first half.